How's it going, everyone? It's your boy Dak908, aka the Dig Dug himself. Yours truly back at it again with some more of this Monster Hunter Generation stuff. Today, Monster Hunters and Monster Honeys, we fight the Royal Ludroth. Now, I know without a shadow of a doubt, the Royal Ludroth made his debut in Monster Hunter Tri. Why? Because Monster Hunter Tri, out of all the Monster Hunter games, is probably my favorite one. Sure, is the one with the least amount of content in it, but it's definitely my favorite one, pound for pound. There was so much that they put into that game that just worked so well. People say, why don't you just like their Ultimate? It's the same thing but better. It's not the same, even though there is much more to it. Granted, we're not going to go into that. I'm looking directly at Lock City. The online for Tri was much better than that of 3 Ultimate, but whatever. We're not going into that as well. Anyway, moving over, we have the Royal Ludroth. Now, he is a water Leviathan, if you will, one who used to actually partake within the waters, but since they actually took away the swimming, he has to relegate himself to the land. He only will touch the water to change locations, and that's it. So you don't have to worry about swimming. For all you guys who hated swimming, I hate you. I'm kidding. I kind of do. Not kidding. I'm kidding. I kind of don't like if you don't like swimming. Regardless, moving over, his main weakness is fire. Okay, so if you have fire, and I'm telling you guys, yo, the cut-coup weapons, run them, okay? Run them cut-coup weapons, alright? If you got them, use them. Fire, okay? Hot fire, if you will. Fire is his main weakness. It's been his weakness since the jump. It has yet to change. Even the subspecies, the purple Ludroth's main weakness was fire. But he's not in this game, so we're not going to talk about that. Anyway, his armor is... It's different, like, every time. It is forever different. This one, his abilities are negate hunger, and I think recovery level, which is the same as what the Kezu's was, where you would take an herb and it would pretty much become a potion becomes a mega potion, so on, etc. But that's good. Those are some pretty decent skills all on its own. Granted, though, it comes with a negative skill of evasion. So if you can, either live with the negative evasion or subside that evasion by just using, not subside, but English, come on, Dak, whatever. If you can make do without it by using, like, Adept, then you're good. Anyway, his weapons are water weapons. If you don't like the Nibble Snarf weapons, you're not a fan of them, or you don't like the way the sharpness and the water level or the water number actually interact with each other, you can totally go for Ludroth. Another really great candidate for water weapons. I mean, either or, they're like both fine. I'm not even gonna lie to you. One, though, Ludroth, if I'm not mistaken, actually has more water. So if you're like, I need mad element, you can totally go for the Royal Ludroth. He doesn't actually have a defensive bonus on his weapons, so that's one thing to take into consideration. But his attacks, though, are pretty straightforward. Like, if you're a lancer, much like myself, then fighting this guy is going to teach you to lance better. Okay, all of his attacks have pretty decent wind-up on it, and they're kind of straightforward. There's not too many hidden attacks in his arsenal. By hidden attacks, I mean attacks that's kind of hard to see. A lot of his attacks are relatively easy to see. They're open. You can see the startup on it, and you kind of know what's going to happen. He can shoot 2 different types of water balls. Well, he has 2 different types of water balls to attack. Excuse me. He can shoot a water ball straight forward, leaving a mass of water on the ground that can still hit you with the blight. He has one where he shoots 3, 1 to the right, 1 to the left, 1 to the center. Not necessarily in that order, but they will do the same thing as well. They'll leave the water little spot on the ground. That's how he inflicts his water blight. He also has an attack where he'll rev up really high and then slam his body down, which could also give you water blight, if I'm not mistaken. It's very telegraphed. You can see it coming for days. He also has his death roll, which he does a lot. And if you're a lancer, even without guard, you're able to guard it or counter it very easily without moving. And it's really good, though, because if you do counter it and he does the attack, your character will roll with the Ludroth and you will not move from your place. In layman's terms, when you do the attack or when you do the counter and he's still rolling, you're not moving. You're actually moving with him. You're not moving away from him, so you're going to immediately be able to counterattack very easily. So that's that. There's a couple other attacks he has in there. One attack where he just slaps you with his hand. I call it the Pimp Smack for obvious reasons. He has a tail kind of swipe, but nothing too real major. Those are his major attacks. Fairly fair monster. He doesn't really spam things out too much. Oh, he also has a dash, if you will. He'll run from one end to the area, shooting water on either side of his mouth, and he'll spin around and do it twice, sometimes 3 times. But weapons and hunting styles and whatnot, so what you can use to fight this guy, pretty much anything. Okay, like Ludroth, he's a very, very balanced monster. In my opinion, if anything, if you're trying to try something out, like a new weapon or new anything, try it on the Royal Ludroth. There's nothing broken about him. He's not, like, you can use anything against the guy, absolutely no problem. Like, out of all of the hunting styles, I cannot truly recommend any one, because all of them will work equally as well when fighting the guy. I mean, the Adept allows you to actually work on your dodging, because a lot of his moves are telegraphed. They're very clean, easy to see. Aerial is really fun too, because I mean, he does kind of move around just a tad bit, but he, in my opinion, is just tall enough, especially right there on where his sponge is high, just tall enough for it to be relatively viable for lots of weapons. He also has a low back region, so if you're aiming with maybe aerial greatsword and you're trying to like barely get the level 3 charge, I mean, the back is low enough to where you can still get that. And Guild and Striker, you know, they're dope. But in terms of weapons, truthfully, I'm not gonna lie here, I will say I don't necessarily recommend sword and shield when fighting this guy. Dual blades, I mean, you can probably go at it, but you'll be swiping for quite some time. He's not the healthiest of monsters, but he doesn't necessarily stun as easily as one would actually think. And I would totally recommend great sword, lances, long sword, charge blade, hammer as well. Not so much the smaller sword weapons, but that's just me. Well, without further ado, everyone, thanks so much for watching. It's been your boy Dak908, aka the Dig Dug himself. You all have a wonderful rest of your day. Hopefully this video was relatively helpful for you. I had fun making it. I had fun fighting this monster. Definitely one of my favorite monsters of all time. With that being said, everyone, may the desire sensor forever be in your favor, and take care.